So guys, now let's talk about the loops. So loops are very helpful in automating the repeated processes. So suppose if you want to print 100 numbers, you want to write 1, write 2, write 3, etc. Up to you need to write 100. So it is very complex task. So you can just loop over the numbers 1 to 100 and you can print the number each time. So that is the help of the loops. You can also uh, loop over so many items, also as many items as you can. So first loop we want to see is for loop. So the for loop syntax is, for you need to say brackets. So in these brackets you need to define three expressions. First expression is initialization expression, that is I is equals to 0. So from starting point and to the ending point. So starting point is defined by the first expression and where to start, from 0 number or 1 number, and later you need to put the semicolon and you need to specify the limit. So I want to say print 100 numbers, so let's say 20 numbers. So I need to say the expression so that this loop executes until this expression becomes false. So now I want to print 1 to, sorry, 0 to 20 values. So I can say I less than or equal to 20, and then we need to say dollar I plus plus. So plus plus in the sense it's incrementing by 1. So this is the post increment operator and it will increment the value by 1, and then say open brackets, open braces, and we need to say write dollar I, and now close the braces. So here what we are doing is we are giving the three expressions into this for loop. First one is initialization, where you want to start the loop from 0 onwards. So where you want to end the loop, that is until the I less than or equal to 20. Up to then repeat this loop, and we are incrementing the I value by 1. So on the first iteration I value is 0, and then it is compared with this expression I less than or equal to 20. Yes, it's true, then this condition will execute, this command will execute, and then this is performed, the increment of this dollar I variable. So whenever one loop has been executed, this operation will be executed. So in the same way, 0 1 2 3 4 until then up to 20 it will execute. Upon 21 this expression becomes false, then the loop does not continue, it will just exit right here. So let's go ahead and run this one. So as you can see we have got the values 0 1 2 3 4 and up to 20. So this is the basic of the for loop. uh, Now I will also show you the while loop. While you need to say the expression, while is very simple, while until the expression becomes false, do this one. So let's say dollar I is equals to uh, sorry, dollar I, let's say less than 30, and we need to say write dollar I. So let's go ahead and run this. So this loop gets executed infinitely, because after this loop, so let's delete this for loop. I hope you have understood the for loop. Let's say dollar I is equals to 20. So I value is 20 and we are checking whether I is less than 30 or not. So if it's true, we need to execute this one. So 20 is less than 30, so this expression gets executed, right I, we are printing the I value, but we are not incrementing it because uh, because of not incrementing this, while loop executes forever. Let's go ahead and run this, and you can see it's executing infinitely. So let's stop this one. What we want to do is we need to increment this I, because uh, it is for every iteration this condition is being checked, so that's why we need to increment this one. So now let's go ahead and run this. Now as you can see the values are printed from 20 to 29. That's because this is the correct loop, we have incremented this one, and the condition has been failed when it is 30. So this is the while loop, and Another loop is we want to do is for if loop. If loop is used for conditional statements. If you want to check whether the condition is true or false, whenever the condition is true, then you need to execute some code. Whenever the condition is false, you need to execute other code. So let's go ahead and say $a is equals to 20. So if you need to say open brackets, if $a less than $10, and I want to say print a is less than 10. So this is one condition, right? If this condition becomes true, then this code will execute, otherwise it will just simply ignore this statement. So since a is less than let's say 30, since a is less than 30, now this code gets executed. Let's run this, and as you can see, we have got this a is less than 10 output. Now we can also check multiple conditions using this else if we want to specify whether $a equals to 20. So whenever the a value is exactly equals to 20, then this condition gets executed. This expression. So first this condition will be checked whether a is less than or less than 30 or not. Since it's true, it gets executed, and this will be ignored. As you can see, if we say 10, so only one if statement gets executed, because it's like or condition between these conditions. First 20 will be checked whether it is less than 10 or not. So it's false, right? Then only this condition will be checked, a equals to 20. So now let's go ahead and run this one. You can see a is equals to 20. So we can also say another one, else if nothing happens, we can just say a is greater than 10. Say a is greater than 20. So let's go ahead and change the a value to 22. Now this condition will be checked. First, a value is 22 less than or less than 10, so it's false, so this will not be executed. And then next this condition will be checked, a is equals to 20, false, then this condition will be skipped, and then else if these two conditions are false, then this statement will automatically execute. Now you can see a is greater than 20 will be printed. So this is the if else if loop, and you need to write the if loop in order to make the else loop execution. That means you cannot write the else loop without the if. So this is the basics about the if else. So basically you can program anything with using these loops, but this PowerShell is made especially for Windows administrator automation in mind. So that's why we will deal with the Windows commandlets and much more. So let's go ahead and I think I should say another one, that is for each. So for each will be like an array. In Python we have seen the for I in the list, you are going to iterate over the list. So in the same way it is similar to for loop, but here it will deal with the array. All you need to say is for $i in so I did not say arrays, we will cover later arrays. Let's say get process. So first let me show you this get process. Let's say $a. say $a dot is equals to get process. Let's say $a. Now if we print all the value, all the processes running on our system, and you can access these IDs and names and paths using this object. All you need to say is, so for I in this get process means, so this iterator is going to loop over this all the values. First it will loop over this acrotary process, and then Adobe CF helper process, and etc. It will loop all over this process, and now you can do whatever you want. You can say write $I or dot, I can just say a name. So I can just say name. Now if I go and execute this, I will get all the process names. So as you can see, we have got only the process names, and you can also print the paths. $I dot path, and you can also print the IDs. So let's just print these ones. So now as you can see, we have got the application and the path, svhost.exe, and the path, sorry, svhost application, and the path is system32 svhost. So as you can see here, there are processes and the path of that process. So you can also print the ID, and you can also print the handles as well. So as you can see, we have got the ID. So this is very useful for Windows administrative task. Whenever you want to search for processes and their IDs and kill them, you can also use the kill process to kill the process. So in this way, these loops are very helpful in iterating all over these values and checking whether this ID matches this one, then you want to do something. So in those cases, these loops are very important. So that's all for this video. I hope you understood the loops.